I'm in 1104 animating on multiple cells. If you don't have the cell animation window up, navigate to the animation toolbox and down to cell animation and we'll be good to go. If for any reason your workspace looks differently, it might be because you're just jumping in the middle of this project. So double click on cell 1 to make sure to open it up in your layer window. And if your layer window pops up behind your composition, you can just drag it and move it over next to the composition window to get a similar setup and then just adjust the spacing so it feels good. All right. So now I have my bouncy ball outline animation, which looks pretty good, but I want to color it in. So I need to create a new cell to color it in. Now, I can create a new cell by clicking the New Cell button with single layer unchecked, and that will give me a brand new cell that I can draw in. But if I double click on that and click on my brush tool, I can't actually see the outline here of this on here because they are two separate cells. So I need to create a new cell on cell 1 or a new paint effect on cell 1. I'm going to click and delete cell 2 right now. And now that cell 1 is right here, we see that outline there. So I'm going to go to the New Cell button, but click Single Layer. And with cell 1 already highlighted, I'll click New Cell, and you see it added Paint 2 on there, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm able to color in right here and see that outline. Let's go ahead and adjust our paintbrush and paint color to do this. I'm going to kind of move this open a little bit more. And if you don't have the brushes tool or the paint tool, go down to window and make sure that they're check marked. I'm going to go ahead and change the color of my paintbrush from this black to something a little more fun. I kind of want it to be a royalish purple. Yeah, I like that there. That looks good. I'm going to go to brushes. I'm going to look at my brush size and 35 will probably be good. Let me go ahead and select cell 1, the layer menu here, and hit Command plus so I can actually see the brush size. That's a little bit small. Let's go to 45. Yeah, 45 will be good. You can actually see the brush size based on that circle. All right, now I want to make sure to go all the way back and take my timeline indicator to the beginning of my timeline. This way I draw from the beginning forward. I also want to remind you to use the previous and next frame buttons on here while drawing and creating cell animation and not on your timeline or keyboard. All right, with Paint 2 selected, I'm just going to go up to my layer window and just sort of draw in. Oof, I accidentally had a little mistake there. I'm going to hit Command Z. All right, now back to here. Let's draw it in, and I'm going to get a little bit sloppy around the outside. So it's a little bit poorly drawn. Drawing outside the edges. I like that. Now, notice we're drawing on top of the actual outline. We'll fix that later. We're just using this for reference for now, and we'll switch these. I'm going to go ahead and twirl open Paint 2 so we can see what we're doing. I did 11 brush strokes there, which is a lot, but check this out. When I hit next frame, it will adjust every single one of those to be just on that previous frame. That's very helpful. I also don't have onion skin set up because I don't really need it now that I have my outline already created. So I'm just going to go through, and I keep accidentally doing that. I'll hit Command Z, and I'm just going to go through and fill this one in, get a little drawn outside the lines, a little ugly, hit the next key. Good. All right. Imperfection is my favorite thing in the world, so I'm going to always be imperfect doing this. Hit the next button. All right, looking good. All right, now I'm going to keep drawing this in, and I'm going to start going a little bit quickly here. I think you get the idea. Paint in, next frame, paint in. Maybe a little accent mark there, next frame. All right, just follow along. I might go through this just a bit quickly. And that finishes it up. I am now even with my actual animation. I'm going to hit V on my keyboard so I'm not drawing anymore, and I can go ahead and just hit the space bar to preview. That looks pretty good. I like the little dots that I left around there. I'm going to hit the space bar to pause playback, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit with Command plus over here. That's too much. Command minus, just so I can see this animation here. What I want to do is have this outline on top of the actual fill. That's kind of how it is in traditional animation. So I need to change the order of Paint 1 and Paint 2. If I double click on Paint 1 here, you can see that they're both here in the Effects Control window. But because Paint is doing the Paint on Transparent, I might have some trouble. I'm going to quickly rename Paint to Ball Outline. I'm going to rename Paint 2 to Ball Fill, just so I know which is which. If I turn off Paint 2, there we go. If I turn off Paint 1, with the effects button here, you'll notice that we see just the black background on there because this is making that transparent on the solid. So I can just switch these, and then to make this work, switch which one of these is check marked. So now the ball fill is the back layer, and that's making everything transparent. So let me hit the space bar again to preview. That looks pretty good, nice and messy. And let me go ahead and turn this one and the other one both to fit, just so everything looks nice and even together. And I'll go back to my project window. All right, so this looks pretty good. And here we have it, multiple cell animations on a single layer. It just takes a little planning and the adjusting of the order of your effects. Not too much hassle for integrating cell animation and onion skinning into Adobe After Effects.